Yeah, because I know a lot of your paintings have got to the sort of stage where there's quite a lot of paint on them. And you're probably thinking, oh, what am I going to do? What should I do now? And because you sort of know it's not finished. Is this sounding familiar? Or is it? Or is it you think I'm being judgmental? I'm not. But you kind of get to a stage like this, there's a lot of paint on it, and maybe there's some nice bits here, and kind of the odd bit here and there, it's okay. And these are actually not the ones I was doing earlier, because you're painting on those now. So. Yeah, it's because it all went wrong. I painted over them. I was going to do it again, but decided just to do this instead. And so it's how to keep going, I think. A lot of the time it's like, convincing yourself to keep going and not just to kind of accept that this is all right. It's got some nice bits in it. I suppose it's okay, and I'll leave it then. So what you've got to do is what I do when I get to that, because I sort of know that these have got some nice bits in, but I know they're not finished. And so what you've really got to do is just keep painting them. Really, you just got to keep pushing them. And so I will do a thing like I did with the, using some thinner paint, just getting it in there, moving it around, pushing that into all these nice little nooks and crannies and little bits of brush marks and scratch marks, and just start working like that. And I think as soon as if you've got a dry painting like that, as soon as you start doing it, you've kind of got the surface moving again. And it gets to a point where it doesn't feel like it's so intimidating to keep putting paint on. And then just keep painting it. Just get some paint in there. Just start moving it around again. But I think it's because I think when the acrylic paint, when it goes dry, it can feel very hard and sort of unforgiving. It's a different one, quite like that one. And so just getting a bit of paint on there and just starting to move the paint around again kind of makes you feel like you can start doing it again. Because I thought this blue was a bit too intense, so I'm kind of knocking that back a bit. I don't mind going back and start going over some areas with some more white paint. There we go. So when you start doing things like that, it's not kind of destroying what's under there, really. It's just kind of knocking it back a bit, and then you can start scraping back through and picking up some of those colours that are underneath there. I did want that blade. No, it's the flatness of the blade.
Do you want the one from here?
It's got, yeah. Oh, it's you, is it?
Solved.
Yeah, I was wondering where it went. Ah, brilliant.
It came out anyway, so
it's all right, it's fine. I'm just pleased to know where it is.
yeah. Well, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Do you have a sandpaper it down or not?
It works when it's dry. If you could do it, this one would be okay doing that. You could do that. I think when it's wet, it just goes all mucky. So. I'm just trying to think about some of these little scratchy marks that are in there, some of the shapes. Again, I do like that big curvy shape, so let's have a bit of that in there. Bits of colour here and there. I want to sort of rework some of this blue. There's too much blue in there, and I don't mind if it starts to get to a point where it begins to lose the things that are underneath. I just want to keep working it because I knew it wasn't, I knew it wasn't done. So, I don't feel like you're really losing anything if you. If you know it's not finished.
So if we go away,
then you're not really losing.
Pieces were okay.
You're not losing. Well, this isn't about making finished pieces work, is it? It's about the process.
Yeah.
Which is why I want to do that. I want to do this, kind of show you that it's an ongoing process. That you just.
How long do you think you might spend on that painting? Days, years?
Well, well, it can be. I mean, the thing is, because I'm working on lots of different pieces what happens is, you can just keep working them, and then some of them, it's almost like a little bit of a conveyor belt. There's this one, and they either drop off the end, or they get put back to the beginning again, and they kind of go around until they get to a point where you kind of feel that
Or is there a deadline?
it's got something. There's a deadline. Yeah. The problem I had a lot of the time with deadlines is that I'm working away, and you kind of think, oh, I've got a few months to do this exhibition. So I start doing it, and then you get to a point where there's a few finished paintings. It's great, okay, I need, say, 20, 30 paintings for this exhibition, and I've got 10 now, and then you do another lot. But the way I work is I tend to kind of build up a bit of a momentum, and I keep going, and then so the next group of paintings, I look at them, I really like those, and I look at the first ones and go, I'm not really sure about those anymore. And so you start reworking those, so now it's getting closer to the deadline, but I've got even fewer paintings, and it's I get to, it's coming up, and I'm thinking, how can I only have 5 paintings finished? I thought I had sure at one point I had 15 of these done, and it's yeah. But that's the problem with working like this, it's kind of...
But once you put your oil glaze on, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's you've had it then. Yeah. Once I started working in oil, they're either oil paintings from then on, or they're done.
Just the glaze colour can make such a lot of difference, I think.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing it
Yeah,
as you go along, then they're never really, you don't really see what they're going to look like until you do that.
No, but I think what I try and do is I try and have get the paintings to a point where they're resolved, and I've spoken to a few of you about this. It's I try and resolve the paintings, and then not really make any radical changes.
Yeah, I love this phrase, resolved.
It's better than finished, isn't it?
I know, but when it's unresolved, and when is it resolved? What makes it resolved?
I think it's when you kind of feel that everything's in the right place. It's like those little ones there at the front there. I didn't really do anything particularly radical to those when I was putting the oil paint on. They were always almost like that already, and when I'm putting the oil paint on, it's kind of a bit of refinement, adding a little extra layer of refinement, and just with the a little bit of glazing, just a bit of subtlety, but they're not massively different to how they were before I put the oil paint on. So that's what I think about them being resolved. I look at them and I think, that's kind of it looks right. Yeah, it looks right, and I know that I can make it better, just a bit better, by adding oil paint.
Pencil
Yeah, it is. It's just charcoal.
They stopped talking to you. They stopped talking to you.
The painting.
The paintings.
Sorry, resolved and stopped talking to you.
So I'm still kind of flipping backwards and forwards between these different sketches and just picking out bits of mark making. So maybe get that one on the go. So this one. Well, I did fancied a little bit more dark in this one actually. Just wanted to put a little bit more dark stuff in this one. I was just kind of looking at that there and thinking, oh, that's quite nice, that bit there. So, anyway, come back again.
They kind of look like maps or something.
Yeah,
That's nice because that's
More like sort of aerial
Yeah.
kind of thing. I think a lot of the times, though, and I think I've done this quite a bit over the years, is that I like to pick locations to go and sketch which are quite high up. Particularly being in the Peak District, you can get quite high, and looking down on the landscape, and just sort of flatten it out a bit and kind of bring everything towards you. If you go and sit at the top of Thorpe Cloud and look down towards Dovedale, you get a sort of vertigo going on because you're kind of looking down and everything almost feels flat because you're looking down quite such a steep slope.
And then you've not got a horizon to do it with.
Yeah, that's true.